Hashtag no music, no intro. Saints Block Party Podcast brought to you by BetterHelp. Buddy. Ryan.
Yes, sir.
We have to talk about these New Orleans Saints.
We do?
We do.
Dang.
This may be, it's 9:40 in California. I'm opening a peach margarita by Cutwater. Still need to get that Cutwater sponsorship. If you're watching the video, need it. If you're watching the YouTube video, like, subscribe. If you're listening, 5 stars, follow, like.
Please. It's important.
It is. This may be the most important episode of the podcast we've recorded. And I'm serious, bro. We've been doing this podcast, or a variation of this podcast, dating back to April of 2020. Almost approaching 4 years.
It's crazy, ain't it?
It's insane, man. This may be one of our most important episodes we've ever recorded. I don't know how long we're going to go tonight, Ryan. I mean, I know it's like, what, 11:40 there. It's 9:40 here.
Bro. I'm sipping coffee. I'm ready.
We have to talk about this team. In a week's time, almost a week's time, 6 days, it feels like so much has happened since that Rams game. Whether it's things in the NFL, things regarding the Saints, and let's start with this, right? This is also the Bucs preview, I guess. I don't know what we really need to preview at this point.
Really?
Like, we saw what Baker did against the Saints defense in New Orleans. We'll see. Baker is he can have dud games, but like, I'm just to the point with this team is like, I got to see it. Like, I don't believe anything regarding this team until I see it. Start with Dennis Allen. 2 games left in the season. You had the rap sheet report came out after the Rams game. And then I think either today or yesterday or whenever, Adam Schefter was on Pat McAfee's show and had essentially said a report that Dennis Allen and Arthur Smith of the Saints are safe. However, the last 2 games of the season may change that opinion. I haven't really dropped any like tidbits of news on the podcast in a while. But what I can say concretely is I would say it's probably like an 85% chance that Dennis Allen is back next season.
Yeah.
The only which aligns with what Rap Sheet reported, which would align what Adam Schefter had reported. The only thing that I could see changing that equation, and I'm going to give a shout out to our dude, Greg Rosenthal. I was texting with him today, and he said, is like the Falcons versus Saints Week 18 game going to be like the loser gets fired game between DA and Arthur Smith, bruh? And I was like, man. For the wrestling fans, it's like the loser leaves town matchup, bro. Like the baby face versus the heel, and whoever loses gotta leave the organization and leave the company. If the Saints lose to the Bucs and it's like not pretty, and then they follow up and also end the season losing to the Falcons at home, and also if it's not pretty, I think that 85% changes very drastically. I do.
Boy. That would be a 3-game skid.
3-game skid in the dome. Like, that's like the last like image, right? Of just like Bijan Robinson, just like stiff arming Pete Warner or some shit like that and breaking like a 40-yard touchdown.
Whoa.
And then I think I think that percentage changes. But here's where I come to. What the fuck are we putting any merit into these last 2 fucking games? Like, what do they really fucking matter? Honestly.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't. They shouldn't matter at all, man. Like, the evidence has been clear for, go almost two seasons now. I mean, these final 2 games you should not make any decision based on these final 2 games. Should not make any decision on the future of this team based on.
Like, but I have it pulled up right here. In almost 5 seasons being a head coach, DA is 22-46. Coaching the Saints, 32 games, he's 14-18. In a division, especially the last 2 seasons have been, overall has been a mid-division these last 2 seasons, a very winnable division. This year was the year, Ryan. This year was the year. Everything that he wanted, he had on the silver platter. Derek Carr, coaches, everything. And here's why I'm so pro turning a new leaf, moving on from Dennis Allen. And at this point, man, just moving on from Mickey too. But I know that's not in the cards. But no. I know you had said on the pod or maybe during the live stream, but maybe it was on the pod first. You had brought up a report by Brooke, NOF. I don't even know Brooke, about like there's been beef and tension potentially with like DA and Marshawn Lattimore. And then I guess when she kind of when she was asked to follow up on that, kind of pulled back, right? And said, I kind of spilled too many beans, blah, blah. I wasn't really supposed to. And Marshawn didn't want to come back play for the team, play with DA regarding like how, the defensive scheme, blah, blah. So I'm this is as close as a Saints Block Party podcast report that we've ever done, right? But I feel like this is important because it goes into the big reason of why DA as a head coach is like eroding the team from within. Is that Brooke kind of mentioned the whole thing about potentially Marshawn being traded this offseason, right? Like that's what she said. So I don't really dig or follow up on things. I don't do it because it's not in my nature to. But this one, like, I felt like I needed to like just do a little of my digging, right? I don't know who Brooke's source is or anything like that, but I can say with some certainty that the possibility of trading Marshawn Lattimore has been discussed within the team. Is it likely? No, not likely. Maybe because it's cap prohibitive, whatever.
Yeah, very much so.
But was told that it's not likely. My question is, why the fuck is it even being talked about? So you don't let a head coach trade Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And I remember after he got traded, and I remember how everything went after that. Like Saints fans were very just kind of like, it kind of became like, at first they were like upset about the trade, and then like Chauncey became Chauncey, and then they felt like it was justified or whatever.
Right.
But we always step from the standpoint that trade never made fucking sense. It was so egregious that the Saints didn't even survey the landscape to see who else potentially wanted to trade for him instead of just selling for a fifth from the fucking Eagles. They probably could have gotten a higher draft pick. They didn't do the due diligence to do so. And it feels like this is just a fucking remix version of the CD Deuce fucking trade. Not saying that Marshawn's going to be traded, but it at some point it has been talked about within the team. So you're letting a head coach who has a overall 0.324 winning percentage trade a star slot corner at the time, top 3 slot corner at the time, and a potentially even has the elk to trade a top 5 corner when healthy. What the fuck are we doing, bro? Like what is going on? What the fuck is going on?
That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know, and I can't wait. I can't wait to get more information. I can't wait. I wish he would get fired because that's when the real info will come out. You get that long piece by somebody that's running
Oh,
down all the beef.
who wrote the one on the Pats and the run on the
I forgot it.
South Wickersham?
Yeah. Need one of them, man. Need one of them.
Need it, bro.
Need it, man. But it's so crazy, bro. And I feel like a lot more is going on. Just reading the tea leaves from people I know who know people. You know what I'm saying? Just reading like there's a lot going on in that locker room. That just to the credit of what they did build, what Sean Payton built anyway. The character of the guys, they do keep that stuff in house, but
They do.
that stuff can only last so long. You know what I'm saying? And you could just see it, bro. It's not going well, man, for this team. And these last two games are going to be interesting to see what they play with. The type of energy they play with, how they're going to fight to the end. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But with the whole Lattimore thing, we'll see, bro. Like, I doubt he gets traded, but look, maybe there's a thing where he wants to get traded, and maybe he reworks the contract some kind of way to facilitate it. I don't know. The cap stuff is, but it's almost non-tradable the way his contract is right now. But that said,
because I have it up. If he's traded even post June 1st, it's a $31 million like negative, like a dead money in cap space.
Yeah, it's
incredibly prohibitive,
right? But
still, even though it's
the fact that it's come to this,
what are we doing? It goes back to the whole thing of Dennis Allen as a head coach is not secure, and anyone, player, coach, anyone is doing something even remotely seen as questioning his authority, you gotta ship him out. No matter what. Ship him out. And so you're a defensive coordinator. Your defense has regressed mightily this season.
Absolutely.
And you think the wise thing to do, because it has to be talked about because it's been talked about within the organization. So you think a wise thing to do is trading a still super fucking young Marshawn is 27 years old, a 27-year-old corner, when healthy, a top 5, top 8-5 best cornerback in the league, is going to be the remedy to fix the defense. And then we're supposed to trust you as a team who completely almost missed on but Isaiah Foskey, Kendre Miller, Trevor Penning, although I still take Trevor Penning could be whatever. We're supposed to trust y'all with draft capital to then go out and draft good players?
Hell no. And you can't trust them to get quality value for their trade.
Nope.
No way. I guarantee you it would be a piss poor trade, bro. Guarantee it.
The only way someone could explain that trade to me where it's justifiable is if you go out and you get another first round pick from a team, and then you package your pick and that pick first round to move up to draft a quarterback, then you understand it, right? It's like, okay, like, yes, it sucks, but if they go up and they get a quarterback and that quarterback works out, and I could see it was like, okay, well, maybe we'll just move Alante then back to outside corner so he's not in the nickel. It's a little more feasible, but I know they're not. I know that would not even be their plan, Ryan.
No. And not only that, DA ain't like that. Like, you ain't, like, he's not the first head coach to, get rid of players that challenge his authority. You know what I'm saying? Sean did it. Not. Like, players do it all. I mean, coaches do it. That's what they do. But you barely standing on solid ground yourself, bruh. Like, you got a what? What did you say? A 3.2? A 3.24?
winning percentage, Ryan.
You one of the
Nigga,
worst. You have the worst record as an active head coach in the NFL. The worst. No, you behind Todd Bowles, and he about to take his team to the playoffs. Like, come on, man! And you guys supposed to have the authority to get rid of players that have, blood, sweat, and tears, elite players on this team. And
for what?
If the Saints for what? And if the Saints are going to have a future, if they are going to be successful at some point, it's going to be built on players like Marshawn Lattimore, Alvin Kamara, the few still youngish players that are still good. And you would ship them out, man. Please, out of here, bro. No.
So like the DA thing goes so far beyond like the coaching decisions on the field, or like how he's not a good head coach. Like he is doing irreparable fucking damage to the organization, to the franchise, bro. Like I cannot verbalize and communicate how fucking bad things are, right? As a fan, and I'm so fucking glad I have emotionally disconnected myself, because if I was still connected with shit being like this, woo, couldn't do it, bro. I couldn't do it.
Here's the thing, bro. Like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, doing the podcast, this is not the stuff, I talk about. I like talking about bliss packages and how the team's going to attack, the strategic and tactics we're going to use versus an opponent. I want to break down how Devin White going to do against Alvin Kamara, and what are we going to do? What are we going to do about What are we going to do about who's the wide receiver for the Bucs?
Mike Evans.
What are we going to do with Mike Evans that's showing out? I like talking about that type of stuff. Break it down to all 20. I like doing that type of stuff. Talking about having fun, laughing, cracking jokes. That's what I want to talk about, bro. I'm tired of this damn DA talk. I'm tired of talking about DA. I'm tired, and I want to look at the future. I can't even have fun with the future, Adam. I can't even look at the future and be like, well, man, we get this first round pick, top 10. We can do this, blah, 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 blah. I don't even care. Care. There's nobody in this draft outside a quarterback, Daniels, Penix, whatever, that would inspire hope for me. You know what I'm saying? And even if we did get a quarterback, if DA and all them still there, I'm just waiting for them to go so we can see how.
So we can get the next coaching staff in. That could come on, bro. Can we say that we both got Senior Bowl credentials 2 days ago?
Yep.
And mine's different reasons why potentially I may not be able to go. But even then, it's still like that, just like why? Like why I'm gonna go? Why I'm gonna? Why, like I get it, we're a business, but why would I spend my money, our money, podcast money, to fly from LA to New Orleans, get a rental car, drive to Mobile, watch some players that whatever, and just knowing that more than likely, if this is the same coaching style, that's still going to be retained, knowing that it's going to be all for naught, right? Like
all for naught.
And so I said it on the Rams recap. I really think that the way that the Saints are going to try to do it, and I'm going to clip it, Ryan, like right here. I'm going to clip it right fucking here. After the season, regardless of how it ends, it's going to be like a mutual parting with them and Pete Carmichael. He's taking like a senior offensive assistant role. And more than likely, they'll probably promote Ronald Curry to offensive coordinator because they can't get anyone else to interview for OC who want to be OC. So they don't really have any other option. Like, do you hear me, bro? Like, how down bad we are as a franchise that Greg Olsen, instead of even having an interview with the Saints last offseason, he's like, you know what, let me go to the Seahawks and just be the quarterback's coach. Like, he worked with DA, bro. That's one of the few names on DA's rolling deck.
Exactly.
They wanted to interview him, and Greg Olsen said, you know what, I'm good.
I'm good. It was one of the few names I looked at. I was like, ooh, Greg Olsen. He worked together. That'd be a nice connection. Then I thought about it. They worked together. So
right.
he knows. He's like, nah, I ain't worried with that nigga. Hell no.
No, again, no.
And now I'm already struggling in my career. Hell no.
And then, so let's say they go that route, right? Let's say they make Ronald Curry or offensive coordinator, but then it would beg the question to me is like, why did you fucking wait till the offseason to do this? Why didn't you do it in the middle of the season? Whatever. So now you're potentially going to bring back Ronald Curry or promote him, and then you're going to have an offense with Derek Carr brought back as a starter. Maybe AK's back, but he might not be back. So then we're relying on Kendre Miller, who couldn't stay healthy this season, and Jamal Williams at running back. A Juwan Johnson who has not looked good this season. Look, Max, I apologize. You were right. Chris Olave, Shaheed, Michael Thomas is probably going to be gone, and A.T. Perry. Like that, and you probably still need a left tackle because you guys either can't coach Trevor Penning or don't trust him to play. So that's another hole that may be on the offense. And also, by the way, Ryan Ramczyk may potentially retire after the season. So now you might need a left tackle, right tackle. So this is what you're giving Ronald Curry to play with, bro?
Ronald Curry.
All right, nigger, figure it out. What?
Good luck. Morgan Freeman, good luck.
Good luck. We've said on this podcast, man, please stop shoveling us bullshit. We're tired of it, man. We see right through it. I want to talk about the Mickey Loomis WWL thing. I want to talk about it because it's created a little stir, right? Our dude, Gene, been a huge supporter. I want to just time out. I want to give a huge shout out to Gene. Gene was supporting me when Nick and I were doing Saints Talk podcast, like when we first started. Gene has been a fucking staunch supporter of me. Never met Gene in my life. I wish one day Gene can make it to one of our meetups. He supports us so much. He's a Patreon. He's so generous, and Gene's fed up, bro. Like Gene is fed the fuck up. As are most of all of this, not all, but a vast majority of Saints fans. So WWL hit. You had Bobby Hebert interviewing Mickey Loomis, and Bobby Hebert asked a stellar fucking journalistic question, bro. Like it was a stellar question. I know Bobby Hebert, but like the question was a good question, right? Asked about
Bobby be a little sauced up, you know. You sipping that Tito's. You sipping that Tito's.
Basically, paraphrase asking, kind of use the Alex Smith Mahomes analogy, and if they're in a position potentially, or maybe even would move up to draft the quarterback, Jaden Daniels, blah blah. The way Mickey Loomis answered the question, I don't even have I don't have a problem of him saying like, Bobby, we're still in the playoff hunt. Like, well, it was so dismissive. It was like, I don't even. You asked me a question about the future, and we're still in the middle. We're still in the middle of the season. There's 2 games left.
What are you talking about?
2 fucking games left.
About, man?
And then people were trying to defend him, saying like, "Oh, well, you expect the GM to just give you what he's going to do in the draft?" It's not about that. It's not about that. I will say this though. Part of me that makes me so upset about all of that is that it 100% ties into everything that I'm hearing about Mickey Loomis, about Derek Carr, about Dennis Allen. They don't see the fucking problem. And it's like, and if you're a GM, think about this, Ryan. You had a GM of a sports team saying, we are not thinking about the future on a radio hit.
Much. That's what they're saying.
How do you have a job?
That's your job. Matter of fact, a GM's job is to be thinking about the offseason right now, not
all the time, Ryan.
Ain't no player you could claim off waivers right now. Ain't no player you can evaluate right now. But what's going on this offseason?
Even I think our dude Rob said it best. Even if he would have said, we're always in the position of just adding talent to our team, and when the draft comes, we'll see what we can do.
That was my thing. People were coming in and saying, "Oh, he ain't went." I've heard Loomis respond to those type of questions in the past. When Drew Brees was here, he said, "Oh, look, we're in the quarterback development business, and we're always looking to, always looking to refresh, blah 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 blah." I've heard him say it 1,000 times. He was defensive. He was in a defensive mode that whole interview. He's feeling the heat. Everybody in that building is feeling the heat. And he is defending his position right now. That his handpicked head coach, who he ran a sham interview process, handpicked, put him in a place, who's looking like dog shit. His quarterback, who his handpicked coach handpicked the quarterback, and he signed off. Mr. Loomis signed off on a $150 million contract.
Not only did his handpicked head coach pick the quarterback, his head coach handpicked the quarterback, and then kind of essentially made sure that they got him by taking the deal off the table that was a very team-friendly deal and made it a 4-year, $150 million, and that's all not all guaranteed, and has completely hamstringed the team because Derek Carr is fucking terrible.
Right. And he's defending that. He's defending that because he knows that any other response would make him look bad, would make him look like a failure.
DA and Mickey Loomis are playing from the same exact fucking playbook.
Yep. Look, Sean Payton said this past week, talk about his offense. Called his offense average. It's average below average. Not good enough. This is Sean Payton talking about his own team. You ask DA the same question, DA gonna talk about it's explosive. We had an explosive offense.
Even though your star running back saying that you don't got an identity.
Mickey Loomis talked about what we were top 10 offense. These are the and I mentioned Sean Payton because I do get kind of tired of comparing to Sean Payton, but
it's hard.
It's hard not to, bro. It's because we know what good head coaching looks like, so you got to kind of use that as a juxtaposition. It's just insane.
If you get used to filet mignon, you're not going to want to go to the Sizzler, bro. You want that
Sizzler, bro. Youngsters don't know about Sizzler, bro. Stop been around in a while, bro.
You want that A5 Wagyu, bro. That 5A Wagyu. You don't want to go to the Sizzler. When you get used to just we got to talk about the Sean thing, about the Russ thing. We got to talk about it because it is such a huge juxtaposition.
Oh,
a huge juxtaposition. Sean had, and it's funny because the Russ thing feels almost eerily similar to the Derek Carr thing from last season.
Very much so.
Right? The Broncos approached Russ these last couple of weeks and said, hey, man, we got to change these injury guarantees in this contract, bro. We gotta fix this. And I get it. Russ, if I was in Russ' position, I'd be like, no, fuck y'all. You ain't touching shit. Right?
Hell no. Cut me.
Right? And so, just like last season with Mark Davis, the last couple of games of the season, they had soured on Derek Carr because he had been playing like dog shit, and he was still guaranteed a shit ton of money, especially if he had gotten injured, right? Yeah. So Mark Davis pretty much came down and said, listen, y'all, he needs to be benched. Now, he got benched partly because of his play, but also partly because Mark Davis did not want to pay money to Derek Carr had he gotten injured because he had played so poorly. The exact same fucking thing is happened essentially today with the Broncos with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson. You have a head coach benching a quarterback that just got paid major money last offseason, won one Super Bowl, went to another Super Bowl at his peak, top 5-ish quarterback in the league. I know people say Russ as a quarterback was overrated, but when Russ was on, bro. Let's not take it. So to have the balls to say you got to ride the bench. Like you're, and I don't think it's all money related because obviously some of it is playing related. Like he's not playing well enough for Sean. For Sean to have the balls and say, "Hey, bruh, these last 2 games are gonna need you to sit down." That is what a fucking head coach does, holding players accountable. And if your head coach is not willing to hold players accountable, then that shit trickles down. I can almost guarantee you, players on this team have seen how Dennis Allen has come to Derek Carr's defense time and time and time and time again. Even like they're there, bro. They're at practice. They see it. They're at the games.
So Mike Thomas, we know.
So there have been multiple points, even in this season, DA could have sat Derek Carr down a game, not even a benching. He could have used the injury excuse, bro. He could have said, you know what? Right, he's banged up.
Right there. This man had 2 concussions and came back the next week.
But when you are so driven to prove that you were right and to prove everyone wrong, this is the shit that you do. Dennis Allen his mindset, and I know this is going to sound weird, but I swear to God, his mindset is not doing what's best long-term for the Saints. His mindset is doing what's best long-term for him and his job security. And that has been apparent all fucking season.
All season, bro. All season. No thought towards the future. That's why they barely play rookies unless they had to due to injury. That's why, you see the decisions like with Trevor Penning. All the decisions they made was all about let's be as safe as possible this year. Let's be as safe as possible.
I'm glad you brought up the injury thing because there's so many things I completely forgot about, like the Kendre Miller thing. Like he got like benched for like the Jags game, but like he didn't get benched. Like he was healthy, but they said he was injured. So it's a perfect example of it, right? It's a perfect fucking example. Like, did you finish your letter?
Oh, I finished.
No, so we feel like this is a good opportunity. As good as ever, right? Make a plea to Gayle Benson, the owner of the Saints.
She's the only one that. Here's the thing: I don't care what any insider says. I don't care what any reporter says. Nobody knows what Gayle Benson is thinking. Nobody. And she has no history to draw off. You can't say, "Oh, she makes these." She's only been the owner a couple of years. She has no track record. So nobody know how she moves as an owner. And she ultimately has the power in this situation.
She does. Feel like we're Princess Leia talking to fucking Obi-Wan right now, bro, saying, Gayle, you're our only hope. Ryan and I are not the help. But please help us. Like, help us. Help the city of New Orleans. Help the community. Help the state of Louisiana. Help Saints fans all over. It shouldn't be that Ryan and I can organize and plan these big events and have Saints fans come in from all over going to games where we pretty much know, unless we're facing like a dog shit team, that it's going to be a loss. Like, it shouldn't be that way. And I'm not even saying that this, like, we need, as a fan, yes, I want my team to be contenders. I want them whatever, but can it at least be fun? Can we at least not have someone who is dismantling the whole what had been built up, what had become the New Orleans Saints like mantra, the program that Sean Payton built? I don't know how one season you preach continuity, and then the next season, almost every action Dennis Allen has done has been the exact opposite of what continuity for the team would actually be.
Right. One of the most winning teams in the last, 15 years, bro. And they just flushed me down the toilet.
Gone,
bro.
So
Unbelievable.
Ryan had an idea of writing a letter to Mama Gayle Benson as a plea. This is a plea to Gayle Benson from us, the fans, from us, Saints Block Party podcast, Saints fans from all over. This is our plea.
Okay. Mrs. Benson, so you have an amazing opportunity in front of you. As owner of the New Orleans Saints and the New Orleans Pelicans, you control sports franchises that are near and dear to the people of New Orleans, Gulf South, and people around the world, as evident just by our podcast community. We love the New Orleans Saints to our core. We talk about the Saints morning, noon, and night. We purchase gear. We plan trips around them, laugh, fight, cry behind them. Lately, it's been a lot more of the latter. But it's getting to be even a worse point, which is the owner should frighten you, that there's an indifference rising up in the fan base where we don't even care anymore. And that's what you don't want as an owner. Dennis Allen has not shown any evidence that he can build a winning franchise in the NFL. He is a good defensive coach and maybe a good person. I don't know. But as far as a head coach in the NFL, how much evidence do you need that he is not the person for the job? He is 22-46 as a head coach, among the worst records in history. And is the most losing coach, active head coach in the NFL right now behind Ty Bowles, who is on the way to getting this squad to the playoffs. They can't beat good teams. They barely beat average teams. He has mismanaged players. There are rumblings of strife in the locker room. He was given the opportunity to build the coaching staff the way he wanted this offseason. He was granted the opportunity to get his quarterback in Derek Carr and shackle the franchise financially for years to come.
That's your money, Gayle. Come on.
Your money.
This nigga preaching right now.
He has alienated players like Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Trevor Penning. He has shown Marshawn Lattimore. He has shown poor game management. No good offensive coach wants to work for him. On top of all that, he uses the fan base's unhappiness with the Saints' lack of success as a tool for motivation for the team, causing division. His defenses, while good, have never been great. He has shown no ability to adapt to the changing landscape of NFL offenses. Gayle, it's time for a change. I know you entrust Mickey Loomis to handle football operations. Smartly, you've been a hands-off owner. You dedicate your time and money to making sure the team has all the resources it needs to thrive, all while not being a meddling owner. But there are times you have to step up as a leader. Loomis has shown he is unwilling to do what has to be done due to ego and hubris. He is desperate to prove that he can build a winner without Sean Payton. He wants to prove that he made the correct decision when he ran a sham interview process for a head coach and choosing Dennis Allen for continuity and to maintain the culture. We see that that this has not worked. The evidence is there in front of you. You sat in the suites in SoFi Stadium last week with future Hall of Famer Drew Brees, and you saw two teams. You saw two teams with the same record look miles apart from how they operate on the field. You deserve better. You deserve better. We deserve better. You've written tens of millions of dollars in checks for a team that is headed nowhere as long as Dennis Allen is the head coach of the team. For this team to have a future, you must make a hard decision, just like you did a few years ago with the Pelicans. Trust your eyes. the late Tom Benson understood football, and you do too. You are one of the most powerful people in Louisiana and a woman in leadership. There's no better time to show who owns this team. Please, Gayle, the people of New Orleans plead with you to move on from Dennis Allen, and if Loomis is not willing to do so, he should go too. It will be scary because I know the New Orleans Saints is like an organization of friends and family, but winning should be at the forefront. Now's the time. Fire Dennis Allen. The Saints Nation has your back and will ride with you. I ain't got no more to say. Serious, man. It's ridiculous, bro. And how many times have I said on this podcast, like, there's no, I'm sure there are great fan bases. Nothing. I'm telling you, man, when the Saints are winning, there's nothing like New Orleans, bro. Nothing like it.
Nothing.
And when the Saints are fun, I get it. You lost Drew Brees, lost Sean Payton. It was going to be rough. But
yes,
at least show an attempt that you want to get back to being a winning and successful franchise. Because right now, this ain't it. You're not showing it. This ain't it, bro.
It's not. It's not it. I don't even want to say anything to follow that because it was of how impactful and beautiful it was. Let's quickly touch on the game. It's just weird, bro. I don't like what are we like? What? Like the Bucs ran all over the Saints last game with Rachaad White when they had like one of the worst rushing offenses in the league, and that offense running game has only gotten better as the season has gone on, and the Saints run defense has only gotten worse as the season has gone on. Worse. So I don't know. Like, also too, Baker been out here cooking, bro. Can we give? Like, I can't stay. Like, his personality irks the shit out of me.
I get it. I completely get it.
But with the Bucs this season, I was watching that game against the Jags. He was throwing touchdown passes to Mike Evans and just whatever. And then after he threw a touchdown pass, he go to the end zone and do like the Mike Evans celebration with Mike Evans. And like, there's this like camaraderie and like I tweeted it and I tweeted it like a couple of weeks ago, not even in jest, but I truly meant what I tweeted. Like, the Baker Mayfield you're seeing this season is what the Saints envisioned that they were getting when they signed Derek Carr this season.
Yep.
Period, bro. Period,
man.
Or some version of that level of quarterback play, right? And it has not been that. And the Bucs have that. And they're paying, like 90% less than what the Saints are paying to get that. And Baker's now played himself into like a nice little upcoming payday next season, bro.
Yep. Sure have, bro. I mean, he had like, I think, a 116 QB rating against the Saints last time they played.
He played out of his mind last game, bro.
Out of his mind. And look, here's the thing. Like, Baker is an up and down quarterback. He could very well come in Sunday and throw 3 picks to a Debo. Like, it could happen. But I would say this season, this is the most consistent I've been. He hasn't had like that bad Baker Mayfield game. He's had games where he wasn't very good, but he hasn't had those. He hasn't had that awful Baker game.
Yeah.
So, it will be interesting, bro. But I just see, we playing in Raymond James Stadium. I don't like the vibe of the Saints right now. Could be wrong. I thought that before. I thought that going into the Giants game, and they played their best game, honestly. So,
but also like the Giants are like absolute fucking garbage. Giants are like absolute garbage. So
exactly.
Like,
and
I'm not trying to poo-poo the win, but like Danny DeVito's not even starting for the Giants no more, bro. Just how
many times has that happened this year? Like
so many, right? So many.
Like, bro, their schedule. I have never seen a schedule this easy. I'm like, why have we never seen a schedule like this when we had Drew Brees and Sean Payton? Like, our schedules was hard every year. Every year we get hard in the schedule.
Ryan, this schedule was a fucking cakewalk, bro. Like,
Cakewalk.
I just
It's so like you can't even trust the stats. Like I saw somebody saying the Saints got a top 10 scoring defense. I was like, do you really believe that? Like watching the Saints defense, do you really believe they have a top 10 scoring defense? Like no. Like they've faced dog shit offenses all season. And the minute they face an offense with a little life like the Rams, they got dog walked.
Dog walk, right?
So I don't want to hear about that. Get that shit out of here.
I have seen many of Saints games. I have seen like blowouts, right? That I've gone and I've attended and during the Sean Payton days. I don't think I've ever been at a Saints game and felt like, oh, we have like no like it was so apparent like after the first quarter ended, bro. Like it was just apparent,
bro.
Much like when you had the same feeling when we were at the Texans game this season, for the little Texas meetup that we did, and we saw like the fucking Texans was like running with like Damian Pierce and shit, and their run offense had been terrible all season, and they were bullying we were like, wait, we're not winning this game. We were like, oh, we're not winning this game. Like I'm tired of the fan going into games where as soon as I know the outcome of what the game's going to be of like the first couple of run plays that the opposing offense does, bro. Woof, you know how much I love breakfast. I'm always out eating my waffles, my pancakes. I love it all. And you know what they say, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and HelloFresh agrees. In fact, they're giving all subscribers free breakfast for life. That means you'll enjoy a free breakfast item with every single HelloFresh delivery.
Man, that's crazy. And you know, each HelloFresh box is packed with farm fresh ingredients, and everything arrives pre-portioned right to your doorstep for less hassle and less wasted food.
We've been using HelloFresh for about 2+ years. We absolutely love it. We can't harp about it enough. Go to HelloFresh.com/SaintsPartyFree and use code SaintsPartyFree for free breakfast for life. That's one breakfast item per box while the subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/SaintsPartyFree with the code SaintsPartyFree. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. But what I'm tired of as a fan is going into a game and I will know if the team, at least the Dennis Allen coach team, Saints team, will win or lose a game within the first 3 or 4 run plays that the opposing offense does. Like I know, bro. Like it's such an indicator of how the rest of the game is going to go. I want to give a shout out to at RP_21 on Twitter. He's been really like great of following or like posting like the ways the Saints can make the playoffs. And this is a Saints podcast, so I did want to go through them. So they have 4 options of making the playoffs. All 4 of these options involve winning out, by the way. Okay. That's the first hurdle. Option 1, New Orleans wins out and Tampa Bay loses week 18, and they have the Panthers week 18. Option 2, New Orleans wins out, the Rams lose out, the Seahawks lose out. They would have a wild card spot. Option 3, New Orleans wins out, the Rams lose out, Green Bay loses a game, the Vikings lose a game. They'd have a wild card spot. And then option 4, New Orleans wins out, the Seahawks lose out, the Vikings and the Packers each lose a game, whether it's week 17 or week 18 or whatever. I don't have the mental capacity to hold all that in my head. I'm not trying to. But here's the thing. If they lose on Sunday against the Bucs, all that shit goes out the window. Like it's gone.
Yeah. So, and we've seen, like, look, we just had a pretty much a playoff game this past Thursday night.
Shut us up.
We saw what happened. So
they get a redo, bro. They get a redo. This is the redo.
It's still alive. Look, like they still have an actual chance to win a division. Because, like you said, you could beat the Bucs I don't look, now, talk about the Panthers. You never know what happens. I don't know. But I'm saying from a player standpoint, and players actually care about this stuff. Like, we could say what we want as fans, but players actually care about making it to the playoffs. They really do. You know what I'm saying? No players trying to just tank and stuff like that. But we'll see, bro. Like, they got to beat the Bucs, man. Like, I just, man, I think about just going up there to Raymond James Stadium. We know Alvin Kamara, like, well, first of all, he's not being used well already. And we know, like, he never really has, like, crazy good games against the Bucs.
Even when he was used perfectly with Sean Payton, he didn't have great games.
Yeah, even when he was used great.
Except his rookie season, his rookie year in the Dome, and he, like, almost dropped the ball before. Like, that was, like, his only, and then he almost returned a touchdown on a away game. But, like, those have been his only really, like, good games against the Bucs, bro. There's not that many.
Who are your weapons? I mean, Chris Olave, you know, and what else? You know, A.T. Perry, you know, like, look, they got Jawan Johnson going this past, you know, against the Rams pretty well. I don't know, bro. Like, I just the Saints look actually worse.
Time, nigga, bro.
Yeah, garbage time. So I don't know, bro. Like, I don't have a lot of faith in this team in this game. But look, man, I was thinking about it. I was like, when they played the Bucs the 2021 season, and Dennis Allen had the head coach, and he shut out Tom Brady and the Bucs that year. I'm like, damn, that was the game that I'm sure pretty much solidified Loomis' head.
Absolutely.
Solidified Loomis' head, like, yeah, that's my head coach. That's my next head coach.
100%, bro. 100%. Without question, Ryan. Without question. But the crazy thing is, bro, like, it's funny because you say that. If the Saints would have lost that game and it would, like, let's say, like, that game ends up, like, not being close, right? I still think the same thing would happen. But here's the funny thing is, going back to that game, everything that their defense had that stymied Tom Brady, at least secondary-wise, you have Marcus Williams, who was playing deep field, who could take away the explosive plays. You have Marshawn Lattimore, who could match up with Mike Evans and kind of erase him out of the game. You let Marcus Williams leave to go to the Ravens. He probably might not be back with the Ravens, so it could be a reunion in the works. But but you let him leave, right? You're potentially, at least there's been talks of trading Marshawn Lattimore. So all the shit that actually worked for you.
And what's funny is Marcus May is hurt, of course. Now Bowden, he's not Bowden. Howden. I always get the names confused in my head for some reason. He's has an illness. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't. I don't know who plays behind him. I don't know.
Because Lonnie Johnson's hurt.
Yeah, Lonnie Johnson hurt. Like, who the hell plays?
Is that Daniel Sorensen's music, bro? They gonna sign him before the game?
Time, baby. Shit, he might win the game. He might have a chance now. But I mean, look, Paulson Adebo, I'm sure he can handle his own against Mike Evans. But look, they move Mike Evans around. I know what they're gonna do. They're gonna watch that Rams tape and be like, shit, I'm going at Alante, I'm going at Yadam, and I am attacking them. That's what they're gonna do. You know, and Yadam held up fairly well versus the Bucs because he played that first game against them. He held up well. I think, did he get an interception? I think. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And then Adam Prentice fumbled it right after.
Yeah. Adam Prentice, bro. He always delivering. So you know, it could be a tight game though. I think you know the Saints defense, even where they are now, I think you know they can try to make it close, and we'll see.
They can't get bullied though, bro. They can't get bullied like they did against like that game earlier this season with the Bucs played the Saints at home. Like that game for me, even as much as like not DA fans we've been, like that was such a he has to go, bro. Like that was like an embarrassing fucking game.
That was one of his worst losses, bro. Like it was bad, man.
And he's had a lot, bro.
He had a lot, man. So it's gonna be interesting.
What, bro? This the maps for this game, bro.
Who's watching again?
Who's gonna be not super? Oh, you know what? Hold on, let me make sure. It's the we get like the Fox's number one team, bro.
Yeah. Great.
So not to the level of Thursday Night Football, but pretty much all the Gulf Coast, Kansas City, Cincinnati. It's a big game, bro. It's another playoff game. It's another chance that DA and Derek Carr have to like skew the narrative maybe a little bit. But again, it's like until I see it, I don't believe it, man. Like I gotta see it. Like I need to be in our live stream and seeing it and cheering for it to happen.
Right.
That's what I need. But
can't be trusted, man. You can't. The way this team is set up right now, they just can't be trusted at all. And they just haven't shown it. They can't. They have not beat any winning teams, and they struggle against average teams, bro. They struggle against average teams, man. All they beat up is chumps. That's all they beat up, bro.
They're gonna go and peacock into Mickey Loomis's off and say, "Hey, don't forget I beat the Colts this season and the Eagles last season." Like that's his Call of Fame, bro.
Mitchell Madness. That's his Call of Fame. Oh man. Like this blows, bro. You know, I want hope, man. Like give me hope this offseason. I'm not even emotionally invested anymore, but I want to go into the Senior Bowl looking at who we going to draft, be excited about it. I want to looking at free agency to see what we could do with our little pennies in cap space. I want to try to map out what we could do over the next 3 to 4 years to, you know, get back on the winning side.
Whoa, Ryan. You think about the future. Whoa. Can't be thinking about the future.
Like, how can you go? Like, how can you trot this same thing out going into next season?
With just a different offensive coordinator.
I can't, bro. I can't.
I held out. Right, we kept saying right. We kept saying it on paper. Hashtag on paper. Hashtag on paper. I held out as long as I could, and then I think it was like the combination of like the Chiefs preseason game and all that, and then I was like, oh man, like here, yes, I'm in, because I just held out, bro. Like there was just I just didn't. Even with Derek Carr, I just kept going back to DA. And this is before I even knew Derek Carr was like completely absolute fucking dog shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was even thinking like, even if Derek Carr was like average, I was like, man, but DA's still the head coach though. Like that's why I kept, every time we do predictions, I'm like, DA's still the head coach. Chiefs preseason game happened. I'm like, fuck it. I'm all in. Yes.
Let's go.
And it's funny because like looking back at that Chiefs preseason game, completely makes sense why Derek Carr looked good in it, right?
Oh yeah,
he's going to get some fucking vanilla offense, vanilla defense, bro. There's no blitzing, there's no trying to hide your scheme. It's just blah blah. He looks like a goddamn good NFL quarterback does. As soon as it involves like figuring out like a defense,
and we've like that's Derek Carr. It has to look perfect. Blocking has to be perfect. Everything around him has to be perfection for him to look okay. Not even great, just look okay.
Okay, bro.
Like a starting NFL quarterback. So, you know, that's just who he is, man. Like
And if that's your baseline as the quarterback of the franchise, wouldn't it like at least behoove you? Even if you don't say it on the record, that's like you got to be like, if this is his baseline and we've made this mistake. Like, okay, let's say we do bring him back. It would behoove us to maybe, if there's an opportunity for us to be able to get a young quarterback in the first round that potentially might not even have to start, right? If they draft a young quarterback, bro, they wouldn't even have to start next season.
No.
It would be that bridge for the future. It would give fans us fans like a modicum of hope, at the very least. But I go back to the whole Mickey Loomis WWL thing and why it just annoyed me so much is because I completely know for sure that everything that he said is what he truly believed. It was like he's not being some like mastermind. It's like, I'm just gonna be quiet. And, like, no, that's not what he was doing, guys. He was not doing that. I assure you.
That's the thing. I replied to somebody who was saying like, "Oh, what do you expect him to say? He has to play this kind of game." I was like, "What evidence has he shown to show that he doesn't believe exactly what he's saying? Like he believes this stuff. Like he believes
100%.
They are still in the mix for the playoffs, and they're just right there. They're right there on the precipice of being like a real good team. He believes that. He has to believe it. Maybe deep down he doesn't believe it, but you ever have to kind of get yourself to believe something? That's where he's at with it. You know what I'm saying? He's getting himself to believe in this because he has to. Because if he doesn't, that means he's failed. And it's hard to admit failure. It's hard.
It is, man.
Especially in the NFL, in the professional ranks like this, with all the ego and all. It's hard to admit failure. But those that do come out better, man. Like, if you admit failure, bro, it goes a long way.
Can I use one example? And I had a tweet that went like mini viral that I didn't even mean for it to go mini viral. Look what Mark Davis did with Josh McDaniels, bro.
Look, hey, talk about it.
You have a broke owner. Broke owner.
I'm broke, nigga.
He's already paying John Gruden still, who's not on the team. We're not going to get into like the little subplot. Again, I don't subscribe to it, but like hearing that like maybe like John Gruden has helped with the offense this season for the Saints and it's still being fucking terrible. Anyway, I digress. Mark Davis is paying John Gruden his money for him being fired. Went out, got Josh McDaniels, was with the team for a season and a half. And it became very apparent to Mark Davis that Josh McDaniels was not the person for the job. Not the person for the job. So he saw that, and as we were recording a fucking podcast, the news broke that he had fired Josh McDaniels. He admitted failure a year and a half into it, knowing that he was still going to have to pay Josh McDaniels on top of paying John Gruden. And in doing so, as an owner, he has lucked himself into, just by happenstance, of Antonio Pierce being named the interim head coach, now has a true leader of men coaching the Raiders, have them fucking competing. They just beat the Chiefs last fucking week, and they didn't score a fucking offensive touchdown. Who will more than likely end up being the head coach of the Raiders because the owner admitted failure and said the person that I hired was not the right fucking person for the job. Antonio Pierce, you could fucking, bro. I watched that Chiefs game from almost start to finish against the Raiders. That Chiefs team is physical as fuck. They have an identity. They play hard. They have Antonio Pierce it's insane how like in 3 to 4 weeks he's changed the entire fucking culture of the Raiders.
It's crazy, ain't it? It's crazy.
That's good coaching, bro.
Good coaching, man. And people just don't see it, bro. It's hard to find that easily. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it takes luck. You know what I'm saying? But you have to realize the mistakes first. You have to own up to your mistake first before you could get to that point. You know what I'm saying?
Got to.
I mean, I don't want to hear like people like, oh well, who's going to want to come coach the head coach, coach the Saints with the captain? And that's like, bro, like there are 32 jobs in the NFL. Just do a real head coaching search. Do a real head coach. The same thing you did in 2006. There was no worse situation in the NFL than New Orleans in 2006. The city was deleted. City was gone.
There has not been a least desirable NFL head coaching job in the history of the league than the 2006 Saints.
Period. That's
am I wrong? Am I wrong?
That's 100% facts. The city was gone. New Orleans was not a desirable location for anybody. Sean Payton didn't want to come here. He was his wife absolutely did not want to come. He didn't want to come, but he was like, it was a job. It's like, well, shit, I become a head coach, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to hear nothing about like, oh, well, nobody's gonna want to come. Look, of course, if Ben Johnson has the options available to him, would the Saints be number one? Of course not. Of course not. And maybe Ben Johnson not the guy. I don't know. I want him, but we don't know. But you got to have a real search. You got to have a real search. Really interview these guys. Really look for leaders and CEOs that you can depend on and run the team. Not just run the offense, not just run the defense. I'm talking about run the franchise from top to bottom. And you need to find that, man. That's what they're missing right now. DA is not the guy. He's not the guy.
Nope.
He's not. I can say that with 100% confidence.
We all can. Like it is evident. It is evident. And I think to me the thing that makes it the most evident is you had defensive players who were ascending, to some degree ascending in whatever way, with Pete Warner, with Alontae Taylor, and they have mightily fucking regressed. It started a little bit last season for Pete Warner, and it's been like Pete Warner is playing like the player that we thought we were getting when he was drafted.
Yep.
This season. Is he not?
He is.
How does that happen when you're a defensive head coach?
It's terrible, bro. And here's another thing. Offensively, DA wants to be like this hard-nosed, physical, running the ball downhill team. And we've been piss poor in running the ball 2 years. 2 years. He doesn't know how to build it.
Not only that, if it's not, like you've said, if it's not coached and instilled in the team in practice, if you have in training camp practice, if you have in OTA practices and everything's lackadaisical and everything's like, oh, we're the New Orleans Saints, we got this for the lease on our helmet, and if it's not something that you're instilling in your team, you can't walk out week one and think it's just going to be something that you could just snap your fingers and it's just going to change. Like I swear, if you go back and just look at the Raiders run game from like week 4 or whatever to now, or not even their run game, defensively, there is not a lot of like insane talent on that Raiders defense. Like they have Max Crosby, Jack Jones, who they picked up randomly, has played outstanding for them. But like as a whole, they don't have like a lot of defensive talent. It hasn't seemed to fucking matter. Like they are playing hard and physical because that's what's been instilled in them to play that way these last 4-ish weeks or however long Antonio Pierce has been the interim head coach. It has to come from the coach and it has to be coached to the team. If it's not coached to the team, if it's not something that's emphasized as a point of emphasis, your team is not going to be what you want it to be just because you want it to be that.
Right. And if I notice, over the years, DA he approaches things from a risk averse standpoint because
he absolutely does.
He coaches scared, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you look at the preseason, like, look, I understand, you don't want to put players in harm's way. You want to, especially with the injuries we've dealt with and stuff like that. I get the mind state of you not wanting to play players so much, but you got a new quarterback and you trying to build something. And I mean, what you had Derek Carr play like one series in the Chiefs game, and that was it. That was it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a Trevor Penning who desperately needs like just all the snaps he can. You know what I'm saying? The Penning thing still blows my mind because they benched Pete. They benched Pete. And I mean, Trevor Penning was the starter from OTAs all through. Like, what kind of evaluation are you doing to where you think he's the starter? And then it takes you to get to like what, week 4 or 5, whatever, to realize that he should be benched. It's like, what you have, like, that's not a failure on Penning. That's a failure on you. You know what I'm saying?
Now.
Like, that's the problem. It's a problem that you thought he was a starting caliber player up to that point, and it's a problem that you could not coach him better, you know? And like we've said, we thought he progressed. We thought he was showing improvement, small increments over time. But by that point, it didn't matter because they just gave up. They gave up.
And that kind of goes back to what I was talking about, like how at the beginning of this podcast, just saying like the DA thing as head coach, it goes beyond coaching, right? And I want to give a shout out to our dude. I say our, but really, my dude, Jake. I've known Jake for a very long time. Like, were you ever on Draft Countdown? Like, were you ever on the forums?
I used to be on there, but not commenting much.
Okay, so like, I have like a huge Jake, John Shipley, who's the beat reporter for the Jags. Just a lot of people like that was like Eric Stoner, like an old throwback chaps. All of us kind of like, not all of us, but like that community. Then Twitter happened, and then we kind of migrated. So Jake has been a dude who has been a supporter of mine for a long time. He's a track and field coach at universities, and he made this super astute point in our Discord. By the way, our Discord, this like today was like such a great like football discussion. But I want to get to the point. I know this is like terrible video podcasting because no one can fucking see what I'm saying. But he made such an astute point regarding coaching, because coaching is so important. And he made this point of just saying like coaching is beyond. Okay, so I finally found it. It's like beyond X's and O's, right? It's beyond like concepts. It's more than that. Sorry, again, terrible podcasting. But thank y'all for sticking with me. Thank you. So he said, this is verbatim to my dude Jake. Says, I'm heating up a little bit as someone who is in a small corner of the coaching world. And he said this in caps. Coaching the offense is so much more than calling plays. The Chiefs have Nagy tanking their offense because they don't hold people accountable, and it's never anyone's fault. They've lost all the sauce, and it's not all calling smash versus mesh. It's about an uninspired bunch. This is DA's problem, and why I'm so proud of Adam and Ryan for publicly fighting the fight. This dude is an absolute joke, and the players are regressing.
Straight up. And this is why I keep harping on it. Is like, you instill this stuff starting at OTAs, man. And look, teams take on the personality of their head coach.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Does DA even have a personality? I don't even know, bro. Like it's
all defensive, bro.
It's all defensive. Go ahead.
Just want to give another big shout out to our dude Mitch on Twitter. Not Hawaiian Mitch, other Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch went through like an awful 2020. He lost his wife and everything, and we love Mitch. He's one of like
think about it.
Every often, bro. Often. Hilarious dude on Twitter. But he even said like when all like this DA period is past, like the thing that's going to stick out to him the most was DA coming like to the presser after the Giants game, right?
Man, me and my family was talking about that, bro. We was talking about that on Christmas, bro. Me and my family fed up, man. Even my sister, my oldest sister is who got me into football. Like my oldest was a little kid. She used to be, I always wanted to hang around her when she was, this was like I used to call her like my nanny. I used to, like, she was older than me. She's like 15 years older than me. So, I just always looked up to her, and she'd be watching Saints screaming, hollering, and all that. So I was like, man, and she would teach me about football, Even her, she like, I can't watch it no more. She's like, it's just boring. I was like, that's just facts. Like, it's not fun to watch.
It's not,
Not
bro.
fun to watch. I love wins. Winning is the utmost important. But just the fact that it's not even fun is what's really killing it, man. It's soul sapping,
It is.
I love football.
Perfect. Soul sapping, bro. And you said it perfectly too. When after like the Rams game happened, we did our recap. You're like, shit, Sunday, bro, we get to watch real football, like real football.
Completely different, bro. I was writing down some stats today, like from the Ravens, like Lamar is 20-1 versus the NFC, bro.
AFC's
20-1.
Really quickly,
that's insane.
It is really quickly. This is a small turn. The Saints were willing to do everything to get Deshaun Watson. Everything. Every single thing, bro. The only thing that probably thinking that they were not willing to do was give him the contract that Cleveland gave him.
Nobody was going to do it except them. Nobody.
Right. So you're willing to do that against someone who is a repeated sexual offender. And yet this past offseason, you had Lamar Jackson, who if a team would have put a contract offer to Lamar that was very similar to the same type of contract that Cleveland gave Deshaun Watson, the Ravens were not going to match it, bro. They were not going to match a fully guaranteed contract for Lamar.
No.
Yes, you would have had to give up, was it 2 first rounders or was it just one? Because it was two. Yeah, it was 2 because they use like the tag because there's like the exclusive tag and the non-exclusive tag. But they use like it was such so because we all felt like Lamar was going to get traded, especially when the Ravens used a non-exclusive franchise tag instead of the exclusive franchise tag. It would have cost you 2 first rounders, a guaranteed contract. You could have had Lamar Jackson, and to be fair, right? I don't want to like rake the Saints over the coals for too much. No team fucking did it. No, it was not even they were putting PR statements out. I was like, what is going on?
I have never seen anything like that. I mean, you had Arthur Blank just coming out pretty much bashing Lamar like, he's been unhealthy for the last 2. I'm like, what is going on, man?
Desmond Ridder as quarterback and he got benched twice this season. Nigga, what are you talking about?
Oh my God, it was unbelievable.
It was wild. Collusion, bro. Collusion.
It was collusion all day.
Rich Eisen can say whatever the fuck he wants to tweet, bro. I know collusion when I fucking see collusion.
Come on now.
And not again. I don't want to rake the Saints over the coals too much for this, but instead, you pay Derek Carr this money. He's gonna more than likely play at least 2 years of this contract. When you could have given up 2 first round picks and had your franchise quarterback with the guaranteed contract. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens on Sunday. This is the perfect time that if you are not a Patreon, it's like watching this version of the Saints alone. Like, you can't do it, bro. You can't do it. Can't do it, man. Like,
come laugh with us,
please. Like, even if you're not you could be in the Zoom and have your mic and your video off, whatever. Just be around people who can laugh this off and not take this version of the Saints team too seriously. Could the Saints go to Tampa Bay and Chris Olave has Derek Carr has a vintage Derek Carr game and he actually looks like vintage Derek Carr? It's feasible, right? It's not out of the realm of possibility.
No,
but this team, if I don't, I have to see every little thing. I have to see it. I have to see it. I cannot just think it's going to happen. And also just thinking we're talking about this, and I know we're wrapping up. These last 2 games may be the last games that we have AK and MT on the team, bro. And for them to like potentially go, like not them, but like for them, their Saints careers potentially to go out like this, Ryan, not like this.
No, bro. You might see them walking me out of the Senior Bowl like Cuba Gooding Jr., bro. You know when Beatrix from Kill Bill sees her like her ops and that music comes on. Bro, if I'm sitting there in the state of my CDA, bro, I'm be like, I'm just gonna spill off on him. I wouldn't even care, bro. Take me to jail.
You know exactly if you and I end up being able to go like a day or 2 days at the Senior Bowl this season, they're gonna do exactly what they pulled that one time that we went 2 years ago, bro. Like I remember it clear as day, bro. I was in my rental car driving back to New Orleans to catch my flight back to California. And then all of a sudden, Mickey Loomis does the fucking presser, bro.
It's either going to be late way after the Senior Bowl, or it's going to be like 7 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. at somewhere, some undisclosed location.
I know one thing.
Only the credentialed media is going to be there.
But here's the thing, though, bro. Like, I see what you're saying. I see. We'll see. Anyway, we are so thankful of our community and the support we're getting and continue to get, even in this current state of Saints fandom of like what the team is. It means a lot. It truly does. It means a lot. All the listens, all the downloads, the views on YouTube, all the people who support us, whether you're a Patreon or not, we appreciate it. Big shout out to our Patreons though, because it's like, this is money coming out of y'all's pocket each month, right? To listen to an episode that doesn't have ads, to be on us with the Zoom calls, to be able to attend the meetups, all that.
Discord.
All of it. Discord, all of it. Also want to give a small shout out to Lisi, who became a Patreon. So we had like extra tickets to the Rams game because of the community that we built. And she was able to take her son to the game unexpectedly, and then she became a Patreon after that. So like this is what it is, man. Like this is what we've built. We're continuing to build, and I think that like we just want. Can we just have a period of our podcast approaching 4 years where like maybe we like are not like contenders, but this just consistently fun.
Right, man. Like the 4 years of this podcast, bro, it's been a struggle, bro. I mean, 2020 was all right, but it's been a struggle, bro.
The PJ Williams, and I know they didn't make the playoffs. No, did they make the playoffs? No, they didn't make the playoffs. That PJ Williams interception, that pick six against Tom Brady, that was the peak, bro. That was
peak, man.
That was it.
And we didn't even have the Zoom back then either.
No, we didn't, and I can't even imagine what it would have like been like if we had and whatever.
Oh man.
Can we get that
close
back?
Like get that feeling back, man. Come on, man.
Yeah,
please.
I'm fiending for it, bro. Just fiending for it. But
please,
we will. Can I end the podcast with Tiffany's days in the Discord from earlier when like the Russ shit happened, bro? Tiffany said, "Fuck, I miss Sean Payton." That was one thing. Second thing Tiffany said, "That dick must be big."
Knock me out of my seat, bro. Knock me out of my seat.
Bro. I understood like the sentiment. Like I get what she. Oh, that's like the funny shit that that happens in our Discord. But
yeah.
Anyway, thank y'all for the support. We will be back on Sunday night recapping Bucs, Saints, outcome, fallout, all that. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Thanks for all the support. Like, subscribe, follow, 5 stars, all that. Back on Sunday. With that, we're out.
Peace.